Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Money, Real Business podcast. I'm Lauren, and today we have Wesley on the show who's selling a display advertising, Amazon Associates, digital product, and affiliate business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Hey Wesley, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on the show. Thanks so much for taking the time to do this. But before we learn more about the business, let me just give the listeners a brief overview of the business. As I mentioned, this is a display advertising, Amazon Associates, digital product, and affiliate business. It was created in February 2019, and it's in the pet care niche. The average revenue for the business is $6,667 per month, and it makes an average of $6,517 per month in net profit. The assets included with the business are a primary domain and all site content and files, secondary domains, ebooks, and Facebook, Pinterest, and YouTube social media accounts. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 63523 to learn more about this business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that we know more about the business, let's hear from the seller. Wesley, can you fill us in on your background in starting and running online businesses?
Yeah, well, I actually started off, just in general, online businesses. I started off in a completely different space. It was in the gaming industry, and that kind of sparked my love of working from home. And that's what kind of led me down this path to eventually building websites. I just love the freedom that this business provides, and that's what made me fall in love with it.
Fantastic. Yeah, it helps that you had a familiarity with the online world. What inspired you to start this website on this particular topic?
Well, I was mainly attracted to the number of topics available under this topic. There's just really so many questions being asked, and just thousands of them. And on top of that, it being an evergreen space was really attractive to me.
Yeah, it's certainly a popular niche. When you were building this website, what attracted you to making display advertising your primary source of revenue?
Earlier when I said there's, thousands of questions for this niche, I think that just pairs well with display ads. It makes it really easy to grow them, easy to scale the revenue with a lot of informational content.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. So when you started the website, did you immediately add display ads and then branch out into the other monetization methods that you have? Or was there a specific monetization that you started out with?
I did start off with Amazon Associates just because it's kind of there for the taking. It's very easy just to start implementing that early on. But display ads also were added early. As soon as I hit a certain threshold that, certain ad networks have, I joined as soon as I could. And then, that's still the primary way that it makes money is through display ads.
Okay, perfect. So one of the monetization methods that we mentioned is a digital product. Can you explain to the listeners what that is?
I don't know the best way I could describe it without giving away the exact niche of the site. It is an ebook. It's something around, it's all informational as well. This just teaches them how to do something within the space. And it really has a great need in this space for the topic that it's on. There's not much out there for it. So it does fairly well for the site.
Okay, great. Yeah. When it comes to your affiliate partnerships, are you affiliated with multiple networks?
I work with 3 affiliate partner networks. One, obviously Amazon, and then there are a few other smaller affiliates that I haven't really focused on greatly. I try to add alternative options to Amazon, which would be like Chewy, but there are a few others. So I think that also would be a good growth opportunity for the buyer to come in and focus on some more of those other affiliate options. I just haven't personally done that myself yet.
Yeah. Sounds like you've been on a pretty good journey with this business. What is the reason that you've decided to sell the business now?
Mostly as a business operator in general, I would consider myself to be very much a starter. I like to start new projects, make them successful, And once they're successful doing well, I like to start something new. That might sound counterintuitive to some people, but it's where I'm most passionate. But on the other side of that is, I think for the buyer, someone that comes in that's either super passionate about the niche or just looking to pick up like a income generating asset to grow it further. I kind of pair well with those people because I am a starter. Anyway, that's the way how I kind of look at that.
Yeah, certainly. As you say, you've got to follow your passion. And if your skills lie in starting and growing businesses from the ground up, then that's definitely something you should chase. Looking back at your journey with the business, what would you say was your biggest win or setback with the business?
That one is a tough question. Giving it thought, throughout the history of this business, there's nothing really stands out as a major setback or a major win either. It's all kind of just been nice gradual growth, and it's been consistent growth, and it's been fairly stable, this whole life. So nothing really major stands out on either side of that coin.
Yeah, I think that's a big win for the business. Some businesses experience so much volatility, especially with all the Google algorithm updates. So the fact you've managed to maintain that stability, I think, is a big win. Looking at where your traffic comes from, do you do much SEO or backlink work?
I don't really mess with backlinks. Everything that I have gained is pretty organic. I did a little Hero, but other than that, it's just been natural backlinks that I've gained. And, all the SEO is just on-page focused, focusing on internal links, just all the good natural processes that everybody's probably familiar with. But yeah.
And when it comes to the origins of your traffic, does most of it come from organic search, or is there another avenue that it's coming in from?
Very much organic search from Google, and most of those being from the United States.
Okay, great. So you mentioned mostly on-site SEO. Are you handling that yourself, or do you have an agency that helps out with that?
Yeah, that would be all myself. Yeah, I haven't outsourced any of the SEO or anything.
Okay, cool. So you've got quite a few social media profiles. Do you do any marketing via those channels?
Pinterest did okay there for a while, and then I had started a YouTube channel, but it's right under 1,000 subscribers, so it's hitting that monetization point, but it's not quite there yet. And the site itself doesn't really get much traffic from either channels, but there were potential avenues I was kind of getting into growing before I decided to sell. So that's something that has been started, but could be taken much further than I've already taken it.
Yeah, well, following on from that point, as you've mentioned now with the social media, and you mentioned more affiliate options earlier, what do you see as the major growth opportunities with this business?
Right now, there's a lot of content left to be added that hasn't been done to this particular, sub niche of the broad pet space. So I think the way this site is angled, there's just so much content that can be created and added. That's really going to be where the growth is going to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's often the case when it comes to websites like this. Following on that same content train, can you tell us about your content creation process?
I'm not really doing anything out of the ordinary in terms of creating content. I try to keep everything reader focused, provide the answer to their core question very early on in the content before I expand on what it is they're asking. You kind of answering what they're going to ask next further down the article. I try to keep everything very simple, but very effective.
Yeah, absolutely. Reader-focused content is definitely the best way to go. How often do you add new content to the site?
Usually a few times per month. There's no set schedule. I just publish as it comes in. As I see that it's ready, I'll go through, do my review, and publish. But it's no set day or anything like that, just a few times throughout the month.
Yeah. And are you creating that content yourself, or is that an outsourced process?
I have a team of writers that I work with personally that, they've been with me for a little while, and I use them to create the content.
Fantastic. So how do you come up with the topics that you ask your writers to create content on?
I use a mixture of, maybe you're familiar with the term alphabet soup. I'll just, go through Google looking through for different terms. I like to start there. And then once I kind of find a thread to pull on, I go as deep as I can around whatever that might be. And then I like to do that. And that helps me also get my thought process going for kind of seed phrases to use and to plug into other like keyword research tools. And I'll use those and see what they come back with as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you give us a breakdown of the keyword research tools that you typically use?
In the past, I've used several, but I do like to use Ahrefs. But more recently, I've been leaning more towards Keyword Chef and really have been liking that. And right now, I would say my method mostly includes Keyword Chef and just Google itself.
Yeah, Keyword Chef is a wonderful tool. So looking now at what a typical work week is like for you, what sort of activities take up your time and how many hours per week are you spending on this business?
My typical week, I don't really track my time exactly. Maybe that's something I should do a little better moving forward, but I would probably say 4 hours throughout the week, maybe more, just depending on, how much I feel like working that week. But I will spend a couple hours doing keyword research and assigning the topics. And the other half of that is just as my team has it written, edited, and it'll be ready in my WordPress dashboard. I just kind of review it. And if it looks good, hit publish.
Fantastic. It certainly sounds like it's quite a passive source of income for you.
Yeah, it definitely has been. That's what makes building websites and this business in general just so great, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So with everything we've discussed in mind, what do you think the biggest challenge will be for a buyer taking over this business?
So at this stage, I think the biggest challenge might be going back and updating some of the older content. And it's not that the old content is bad. It's just that, Google likes to see some freshness in the content. And, for me personally, I find it less exciting. So maybe that's why I find it a little more challenging to go back and do that. But, for someone else, that might not be the case for them. It might not be a problem at all. That would probably be the one thing that sticks out as being a challenge is just dealing with older content, updating it, adding some fresh content to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping things fresh and making the algorithms happy is definitely a priority. With all of that in mind, obviously, you've worked on this site for a couple of years now. You know the ins and outs of it. How much support are you willing to offer buyers to help ease the transition for them?
Well, beyond like the typical 30 days email and text support, I want to make sure that whoever buys it, I'll take my time with them to ensure they understand like how my master spreadsheet kind of is put together and works, and provide them direction on which way I would go if I was to continue growing this business. I don't know who the buyer is going to be. So, they might be very experienced or, could be a little more new or whatever the case might be. But, I'm willing to sit down and give direction and kind of show them what I've, go over everything I've done and where I would take it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I think, giving them that roadmap for the future will be a huge asset. When it comes time to negotiating the sale, would you be open to something like an earn-out agreement?
I would prefer an all-cash buyer, obviously, but I'm not totally against the earn-out. It is something I will have to kind of look at when a, bridge gets there. But I am open to it. But obviously, I would prioritize anyone that's able to come in and just buy it outright.
Yeah, certainly. And would you commit to a non-compete agreement?
Yes, non-compete agreements, not a problem at all.
Fantastic. Well, Wesley, that brings us to the final question of the interview, and probably the most important one. We saved the best for last. So if you had to put yourself into the shoes of a buyer, why do you think that your business is a business worth buying?
I think there's a lot of great opportunities for growth in this niche. Especially there's also a lot of room to grow with the informational product side of this business. I don't know how much more details I could give on that without giving away the exact niche, but there is a lot of room for growth in that department. There's also a lot of room for more informational content to scale the display ad earnings. And, with the site being in its current position, with the site being very stable for a long period of time, if somebody gets behind it and just continues publishing content and grows the informational side, everything should grow very smoothly.
Yeah, fantastic. As you said before, the stability is definitely the highlight of this business. And I think that's something buyers should definitely pounce on. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners that I might have missed?
Nothing I can think of. No, I think we did pretty good.
Okay, perfect. Well, Wesley, thank you so much for coming onto the show and giving us more insight into you and your business. It certainly sounds like a wonderful asset. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 63523. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.